Hello everyone, starting with the name of Allah who is the most merciful and gracious. Assalamu alaikum. This is me Syed Zia Ullah and you are watching Zia Institute of Physics. Today my topic of explanation is flux. So the word flux you may have heard it in the subject of chemistry, physics or generally. So the word flux generally means flow. Flux. For example, this is a door. I will take the example of door. And people come inside, in and exit. So the flow of people across the door is known as flux of the people. So what does the flux word mean in physics or measurements? In physics, the definition of flux is a rate of flow of physical quantity through a given surface or area. For a specific surface or for a specific area, the flow of physical quantity in a given interval of time is known as flux. So flux is further divided into many parts on the behalf of the quantities. For example, the types are mass flux, momentum flux, heat flux, electric flux, magnetic flux, particle flux, radioactive flux, and many more. So for example, I will take the example of mass flux. So for example, this is a pipe. Let's suppose this is a pipe and this is the cross-sectional area of that pipe. And mass of the fluid flow inside or coming outside of the pipe. So this coming inside and outside, this flow is called flux or especially mass flux. So if the mass flow inside or outside across a specific area, so this is known as mass flux. For example, I will take the example of mass flux. For example, this is a window and some amount or mass of the air coming inside the room or outside of the room. The flow of this mass will known as mass flux. Similarly, there are so many examples of the flux. Momentum flux. Momentum flux, if momentum flows across a specific area, then this flux will known as momentum flux. Heat flux. For example, this is a conducting surface and the heat flow through this surface or across this surface. So this will known as heat flux. Or for example, when a heat flow inside the room or going outside of the room, then this flow will known as heat flux. Electric flux is something specifically used in physics. For example, this is a scalar area A. An electric field lines passes from a positive plate toward the negative plate. By crossing this area, the scalar area become vector area. This flow is known as electric flux. So electric flux is when electric field lines passes through a specific area, then this flow is known as electric flux. Another type of flux and that is magnetic flux. For example, this is a north pole of magnet and this is south pole of magnet. So surely the magnetic field lines will go from north to the south. If I exert an area here in between these two poles, the magnetic field lines will pass across this area and this passage of magnetic field line will known as magnetic flux. Similarly, particle flux. I take here example a specific area and particle like electron or something passing through this area, then this flow will known as particle flux. And the last one is radioactive flux. For example, this is that area and electromagnetic waves like radio waves or light waves are passing through this specific area then this flow will known as radioactive flux. There are many more examples of flux. And remember one thing, when the flux passes through a specific area, that scalar area become vector area, and the direction of that area is in the direction of electric field lines, magnetic field lines, or many. For example, these electric field lines passes through this specific area. So this scalar area become vector area, and the direction of that vector area is in the direction of this field line.